There are no guests today, and we are going to take a lot of your calls. That probably means 20 calls is a lot for me, because I never seem to get to them. But when I do go to callers, I tend to give you a lot of time. On any issue you wish to discuss, anything you'd like to talk about, I'll give the phone number out at the end of the next segment. I do want to tell you we've got a lot of really important news today. I see these kind of articles about every 2 days. And what's happening is I am becoming conditioned myself to just accept this, and that's wrong. And the reason I know that's happening is a couple years ago, we'd see this come out every few weeks, and I'd cover it. But now it's every 2 days or so, TSA robbing people's bags, TSA grabbing small children and taking them into rooms where they scream and cry if the father complains, police come and baton them in the head or taser them. People dying in TSA custody, them robbing hundreds of people a week at major airports a piece. Just Kennedy Airport, where I've had a present for my daughter robbed out of my bag. They admit it's 200-plus robberies per week by the TSA. The drug dealing, the child molestation, some of them are pimps, drug dealers. I mean, it's incredible. Who else wants a job? Who else wants a job? I mean, I've talked to some TSA that, got it 10 years ago, who've come to my protests and things. They go, well, I got it at first just to search bags and stuff, for security because it's decent paying. But I quit when they started the groping. So some people it was, hey, I'm, been working at the post office. I can get paid more over here. I'll go here. But as it got more and more evil incrementally, the only people, and I've seen it, that want to pull out, when a man's attracted to a woman, and you see him pull good-looking women out of line if they're into women. You see the pedophile types going after the kids. You see the homosexuals going after the men. You see the lesbians going after the women. I mean, it is bad, folks. Well, CBS reports priest removed for reports of abusing children is the commander of the TSA there in Philadelphia. And, needless to say, the children are getting a very intense genital pat-down. For a long time, you've heard there have been so many Congress people, so many movie stars, so many models. It's every week or so in the news saying, this man, this woman grabbed my genitals and clearly enjoyed it. They either enjoy the raw power of it, because it's all types of weirdos that are getting these TSA jobs and all sorts of perverts, or they sexually enjoy it. And undoubtedly, when I was, quote, patted down in Las Vegas, the person said, I listened to your radio show. I was listening yesterday. This is my administrative privilege, and was clearly enjoying the fact that I was awkward and couldn't do it. And clearly enjoyed getting down on their knees in front of me. They're listening right now. And rubbing all over. I mean, this is bizarre. And all these models of people come out and say, yes, the woman clearly enjoyed it. There was no doubt about her sexual preference. Now, it's one thing to have adults being abused and sexually assaulted. That's bad. That's illegal. It's a felony. The state police in Texas came out and agreed with the legislature and said it's a felony. Doesn't matter. They're not going to stop. Psychologists have come out and said this is training children to be touched. I mean, I've always told my children, if you're at a camp or something or at swim team and somebody starts touching you, it's inappropriate. Anything other than a pat on the shoulder or whatever by an adult, if a child comes over and hugs you or something, that's fine. And again, then the system tries to even say hugging is wrong. But then they make the government abusing you okay. And now my children, hear my radio show, or they will be somewhere and they see it on TV. I've been in a hotel room watching about the TSA on a vacation once. They're like, well, what do we do? You said don't let anybody touch us, but if we ever fly, we want to fly, but we don't want to be touched by the TSA. Everyone's having to have this discussion. And I had several state reps on in Texas who unanimously, as you know, last year said, you can't do this. It's already illegal. We're going to enforce the law. What made them all blow up? They've all got to fly quite a bit. And they describe having their daughters and sons taken away and the daughters crying while TSA touches their breast and their genitals. And I personally, as a father, can't handle it. And I see it in the news where the parents get panicked. And they tell them, you stand there. And then they arrest the parents when the child starts crying. And you've seen the videos where they start pulling their shirts off searching them and really getting off on it. And you look at these TSA people, they're the archetypal perv. You know, whenever the cops bust some guy trying to pick up kids in a schoolyard or catch him grabbing a little kid, they always look the same, real wimpy, little chicken necks. You know how a pedophile looks, and it's like, oh my gosh. You know how a heroin head looks. You know how a crackhead looks. I mean, you can't always judge a book by its cover. But the archetypal child abuser always looks the same. Whether they're black, white, Hispanic, you know the look. You've seen them. Real gross. And you're at the airport and you see them. I've sat there. I was in California. And I went through, they had a Starbucks right there. I got a coffee because we got there early. And so we'd gone through the checkpoint. And I said, watch this. And I sat there with It was Santa Rosa. Was it Santa? Whatever the big airport is outside Santa Cruz, the one we drove to there, it's big. And we even shot a little bit of video of some of it. And they were not putting men through the scanners. All they were putting through was women, people in wheelchairs, and children. And we sat there for 30 minutes. I went and got a newspaper. We sat right there. We even shot some video. We aired on the nightly news. And we also made the point they would body scan and then always pat you down. See, they said, oh, we'll just do pat downs if you don't body scan. San Jose. Dude just came in here. Everybody that, there's so many sands this, sands that around there. I can't keep track of them. Beautiful area. The reason I'm prefacing all this before I get into all the other huge news is CBS News. A defrocked priest for reportedly, you know what, with little kids. He's the head of TSA at the big Philadelphia airport. Of course he is. Of course. Man was removed from ministry after 3 cases of sexual abuse against young girls. Oh, my heavenly Father, please deliver us. And this is the type of garbage that we deal with. These wolves. And, I mean, I'm telling you, the guy that was rubbing, I was wearing a T-shirt, he was going, this won't take too long. And I'm just going, what in Hades is this? And I just wanted to get on the airplane and get out of there. I mean, in my entire life, I've had medical doctors touch me, and that's it. And I didn't like that. And now I've had a man rub his hands all over my body. And he was in a uniform. This is the new America. You can go to Infowars.com and read about the defrocked priest for reportedly targeting little girls. He is now the commander of the TSA at the main terminals D and E. He is the commander. The commander. And that report, again, TSA hired serial sex abuse priest, pedophile, as screener. There you go. Was removed and the whole thing was covered up. Let's go back to Steve Watson's article here. Man was removed from ministry after 3 cases of sexual abuse against young girls. Why don't they arrest these people? Oh, well, they're a priest or they're a CPS worker. Who do you think wants to get around little kids? Who do you think the CPS are? Who do you think the TSA are? Who do you think truancy officers are? Statistically in criminology, truancy officers up until now are the most dangerous people out there for children. Next, it's CPS workers. I-Team, priest removed from ministry due to sex abuse allegations. So he was removed. He didn't deny it. Now works at PHL. Let's go to part of that newscast. Here it is. Here at Infowars.com.
Tonight, a CBS 3 I-Team exclusive. A Catholic priest who was removed from ministry over sex abuse allegations now holds a sensitive security post at Philadelphia International Airport.
And as the I-Team reporter Ben Simino shows us, his conduct is under new scrutiny.
Okay, I tell you, our video systems just do not work anymore. We are at crisis level here. Every video we try to play now is not working. And I just, for the life of me, do not know what's going on anymore. So let's just recognize we've got a problem, and let's get it fixed, okay? So, I mean, we bought new computers to get around this, and I don't know what I can do to be able to get these going. Is there anything we can do? Here, go to rebroadcast. I don't like my job particularly here all day, knowing that America is helpless in the hands of a bunch of perverts and scum who are molesting our children. And I see newscasts now from all over the country where you try to take a bus ride or you're driving down the highway and the TSA now wants to fondle your children. Let me tell you something, you pedophiles. You're not getting your hands on my children. And we're going to wake this country up and take things back, you pervs. You see, they know that if they can do that, they can get away with anything. So the social engineers are hiring an army of scum. And you've got the report up at Infowars.com right now. Infowars.com. Reported child molester who was defrocked over it. TSA hired reported serial sex abuse priest pedophile as screener. Man was removed from ministry after 3 cases of sexual abuse against young girls. CBS reports, I just can't handle it. When is this country going to wake up? I can't even do this radio show now. It's not just that the stupid CBS video that was playing earlier, actually off their site, quit working. We need to re-download that ourselves and see if we can get it working. That's not my only issue. That's not why I got mad. I have to fight constantly to not overturn this broadcast desk and start kicking holes in the wall. And I'm not somebody that does that on any other issue. I wreck my car, I don't get mad. Crack a tooth, I don't get mad. Lose my wallet, I don't get mad. But when I constantly learn about the globalist abusing children and bringing us into total bondage, I am absolutely in a controlled rage right now. Every time I look at how innocent my children are and how good they are, and I think of everybody else's children, and I think of all the things they're doing to children, it makes me angry to a level that is indescribable. I feel like I could pull one of these people's heads off with my bare hands. And you know what I'm talking about if you're a parent. I am tired of it. I am sick of it. I am sick of it. I have seen the photos from the families of their kids killed by CPS, looking like concentration camp victims with their eyes sunk in, dead. I have to read constantly how they're grabbing 2-, and 3-, and 4-year-olds and putting them on, some cases, 20-plus drugs, on average 7, until they start having seizures, and then they put them on anti-seizure medication and turn them into little zombies and kill a bunch of them. And none of you people are standing up. You police, you bureaucrats. I am offended by all the races I hear about, to race for homeless children. That means kids the system's taken. Or the race to help this orphanage or that. Or the race to find a cure for breast cancer. It's all by design. The breast cancer off the charts, the autism, the breakdown of the family by design, and then for little issues, they take people's children, and no one enforces against the CPS, where they literally put them in cages, in basements. A lot of them don't even want to rape them. They just want the money. So they feed them almost nothing, put them in dungeons, lock them up. When they get caught, the judges say the CPS is allowed to do that. And they give them all these drugs, and then they rape them. And I just can't handle it anymore. Okay? I know why a lot of people want to live in denial and just go off and not care about this, but let me tell you something. You're not going to hide from this stuff. You're not going to hide from this stuff anymore. You are not going to be able to get away from the evil. We're all going to be judged for the 52 million abortions and the millions of dead this global empire's killed in our name in just the last decade. And we're all going to be judged for everything we've done. And if you don't believe in God, hey, that's your issue. The world, history, what comes around goes around.